What is up, everybody? Welcome back. And today, we're going to the DMV. We're also talking about this, the K&F 1 to 10 stop ND filter. But first, the DMV. Alright, so, I know this is an episode about the ND filter, but we're going to do a story time, because I think it's going to be fun. So, yesterday I got in the mail, like 3 or 4, just bang, 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 notices that my driver's license has been suspended, but it doesn't say why. So, I get up bright and early this morning to come to this lovely place, the Department of Motor Vehicles, or the Motor Vehicle Department, or whatever it's called in the state you live in. It's the place that takes your money that allows you to drive your car. So I go in, I'm like, hey, here's my driver's license, here's all these notices, what's up? So they do a little bit of typing on their computer and go, we don't know. Your license is suspended. I'm like, okay, but why? And, gunshot. Gunshot or backfire? We'll go with backfire. Extremely loud truck. Another loud truck. But they're like, we have no idea why. So I'm like, well, what do we do to fix this? So they do a little more aggressive typing, and they're like, well, you owe us $50. I'm like, for what? And they're like, well, we don't know. Let's see where this is going. So I'm like, that's cool, I'm not paying it. And they're like, okay, well, let me check something else. They do a little more aggressive typing, and wow, this camera's heavy. Gotta switch arms. So they do a little more typing, and then come back with well, we had a glitch back in June where several people's licenses got suspended for no reason. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I'm glad I was part of that exclusive group. So they fixed it. My license is unsuspended, hopefully, until I get stopped. Hopefully I don't get stopped. But anyways, I thought this was an interesting story. Let me know what you think. So we're going to do a little bit of B-roll and talk more about the ND filter. So, I need to wash that. Every time that I go to wash it, it rains, so it's dirty. But we need to wash that at some point. So let's get out of the helmet. That's better. All right, so what I want to talk about today is ND filters, and not just generally about ND filters, because there's already tons of videos on ND filters. More specifically, I want to talk about this ND filter. This ND filter is the K&F NDK 2 to 400, and the image out of it is pretty decent. And if you went to get a Polar Pro Peter McKinnon 2 to 5 stop, you're talking $250 for one ND filter that only covers half the range. And give you a little idea of that. So that would be basically from about here to about here. That's all you're gonna get out of a Peter McKinnon 2 to 5. This, if I stop hitting the camera, can go all the way, like blacked out. We don't want that though. We want that, which is almost perfectly exposed. And don't get me wrong, the Peter McKinnon glass, the Polar Pro, is phenomenal glass. It's the best that you can buy. That's why it is $250. But not all of us have the money for that kind of gear. So this ND filter is the K&F NDK 2 to 400. And it can go all the way from 2 stops all the way to you can't see. Now at the end you do get that X. That does happen. But that's part of life. So How much does this glass cost? $80, $90, $100? Go $125, half the price of the Peter McKinnon? No. It cost $40. 39, it was like $37.99. And you can get, they have their premium glass and it's like $70, but this is really all the ND filter you need because it can do everything. That's a shot of a sky. That's all the way open. And bring it back. So, let's get some tasty B-roll and show you what this ND filter can do. Also, I have to go to work later today, and I'm going to shoot some B-roll there, and it will be included in this B-roll section. Just heads up. The reason why you want an ND filter is so you can properly expose your shot, because this just looks horrible. And the other way that you could do it is crank up the shutter speed, and then you get like weird motion blur because you want to shoot in the 180 degree rule. And there's like tons of videos that go into this, but briefly covering it, if you're shooting in 24p or 23.98, which is cinematic, then you want to shoot at 48 shutter speed or 50 on most cameras. So your image quality is the best and you have the proper motion blur. And the ND filter is the only way to get proper exposure. So obviously, if I'm backing this product, I like it. I've used this ND filter since I broke the last K&F ND filter. And let me tell you about that one. That was a mini stroke. Like, just, I knocked my Sigma 17 to 50 off my desk, and it landed on a C-stand. Yeah, just like, I still get anxiety over it. It hit the C-stand, and it shattered the ND filter. But the ND filter saved the lens. So that is exactly why, even if you don't use an ND filter, have an ND filter on your lens, because accidents happen, and it saves the day. So, my final thoughts on this ND filter. Is it good? Absolutely. Does it do just as good of a job as, say, a Polar Pro? Yes, it does a very good job. Is there any color shift? Not that I've noticed. Everything is the same color. And I shoot in a log profile, so I haven't noticed anything. Should you buy a cheap ND filter? Yes. But be careful buying cheap ND filters. This, as I said, is the K&F NDK 2-400. It's $37 on Amazon, and this is the best ND filter I have ever used. But that's going to do it for me. If you guys liked it, if you enjoyed it, and if you learned something, smash that subscribe button, like it, share it, and I shall see you in the next one. I missed that one.